All right, I'm gonna go over what's in my fire starting kits. I have more than one, at least more than one way to start a fire. Redundancy is good, plus it's fun to do it different ways, so I carry several different ways. Anyway, I'm going to go over each of those. Basically, I'll just tell you what each one is, and then I'll zoom in on how to use them. So here I have some dryer lint covered in wax to protect it so it doesn't get wet. I use that to start a fire like a candle. It burns like a candle, so it's really good for that. I got some small ones and I got a big one. And then also from Bigfoot Bushcraft, I have these little fire plugs that they have, and they're covered in waxy coating, and it's got a fiber inside that lights with the spark from a flint steel or a lighter or whatever. But these work great. They work very similar to the wax covered lint from your dryer. Got a few of those. I've just got your traditional matches, lighter, by far the two easiest methods to build a fire. I got kind of a fun way to start here with a little bit of flint or steel wool and a battery. The battery and the steel wool together. And I also have a magnesium fire starter. So there's a magnesium brick and then the flint. And then in here I have the flint rod. Some hand sanitizer to wash your hands real good. No, but hand sanitizer, you can use this as a lighter fluid. It works really good, I'll show you. And then there's this product out here called a fire stick. There's several different makers, but basically it's a piece of rope that's fibrous such that you just get a spark to it from flint and steel, and it lights right up, and it's supposed to be waterproof and burns long enough for you to get a fire going. And then last but not least, a spindle here so that you can create a fire the hard way. This does work, but I use it as a last resort. Anyway, so I'm going to zoom in and show you how all of that works. Okay, easiest method for sure is your typical lighter. You want to make sure those are full of fuel. The flint's working good. See, that one's like acting up now. That's why you want, oh, there it goes. You want to make sure that they're working. Okay, then your strike anywhere matches. Works like a match. Good job. Got my water here to put everything out. Okay. That's easy. Okay, so now let's try one of these fire plugs. I'm not going to do the big one because I want to save that, but I'll do one of these small ones. They're basically the same thing. So basically I take a knife or something and I gouge out the wax that's right there so that I can get to the flint or the lint that's underneath it. Right in there. And what you can do with that lint is you can get a spark on it, use a lighter. Okay, so once that's lit, it'll sit there and burn for 5 minutes. Gives you plenty of time to get your sticks, your twigs and whatever, and you can create a little teepee over that and build your little fire. But it's just like a candle, it'll burn for a long time. Okay, another fun way, works pretty good, is a battery. I use a 9-volt battery and a little bit of steel wool. What you want to do is you want to separate this fine steel wool out to make the metal fibers more separated. I'm wondering how long that'll last. I'm gonna try to pick that up and move it real quick so it's not in my way. Let's set it over there. I'm just curious how long that'll last. Anyway, so now I got my steel wool and a battery. You can use double A's, but you got to put two together end to end and then stretch this out and try to touch both ends of the battery. But a 9-volt battery works really good. Just touch it right on the fibers and then blow on it. You got yourself a pretty good way to get a fire going there. Alright, we'll set that up there with that. Get that out of the way. Okay, then we got our fire plug. This one here, you just break it back and forth and twist it around until you get those fibers exposed right there. And then what you can do is you can put a spark to that. Oh, there we go. All right. And once you get a spark to that, it lights up pretty good. Just got to know how to use a flint. Looks like I had a little bit of trouble there, but I got the job done. Anyway, that dryer lint's still burning. It's doing pretty good. Burn up the rest of that steel wool with that. And this is supposed to burn for a good amount of time as well. So I'm going to set that over here and see how long that burns. But I'll bet it's about 10 minutes. We'll see. Just set it right there. I'm not going to do this demonstration today because that takes forever, but it can be done. So now I got to get my knife out and we'll cut this and try it out. Alright. So I'm going to cut off a piece of that. That's dense stuff. It's just rope, but it's a special kind of rope. It's hard to cut. Alright. So basically, you're supposed to get this separated out. It's just full of tightly woven fibers in there. You just separate this out. See all the little different ropes in there? As you get those separated out, make kind of a little bird nest of small fibers like that. But again, this is supposed to be waterproof. It's got a little waxy coating to it, so it doesn't matter that it's in the water like that. And separate it out. Alright, then you get some flint to that. And there it goes. Didn't take much to get that started. That right there is supposed to be waterproof. I mean, it even looked the stuff I dipped in the water there. But you can put this in water and it'll just float on top of the water and burn. It's pretty amazing stuff. I mean, that's literally in that puddle of water and it's burning fine. Pull it out of there just so that I can get it burned up so I'm not leaving a mess. Meanwhile, all this stuff's still burning. Got that fire plug still burning. The wax covered lint from the dryer is still burning. And the last thing I haven't showed you yet is this magnesium brick. So basically what it is you take this and you shave off magnesium shavings. You want to use the bottom end of your knife so you're not ruining it. They give you this little tool to do it so you're not ruining a knife, but boy, it's hard to use this little tool. Maybe I'll use this one, I don't know. That works pretty good. Basically, you want to get a small pile of these shavings and then gather those up. You gotta try to find a way to contain that shavings in a pile. Anyway, I don't know if that's enough to do it or not. Let's see. Basically, you're supposed to get a pretty good pile of shaving. Let's just see if that'll work. Yeah, see, it started to go right there. So that'll burn. Depending on the size of your pile, that'll burn long enough to start your twigs and stuff on fire. That didn't last very long because it wasn't a very big pile, but just got to shave that off and get a sizable pile, and you're good to go. Looks like that fire plug finally went out. That lasted quite a while. Looks like that dryer lint's still smoldering, but it lasted quite a while as well. One other thing I wanted to show you is the take this kind of fairly dry twig and stick it on a fire. It might not burn, but if you put a little hand sanitizer on it, that hand sanitizer, it burns. Ouch. You can't see the flame either. Yeah, there's a little bit of a flame there. I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it. And it'll burn. It's really hard to see that flame, but it's burning. Anyway, it's a great lighter fluid for the wilderness. If you want it to really smell good, you use the scented kind. This one is frozen lake. You smell like a frozen lake if you want to use that one. You can squirt hand sanitizer on that stick, and that hand sanitizer will burn. And it gives you some time to get your sticks on your fire so that you can get your fire started. Hand sanitizer, just a little travel one like this is all I carry with me. But it's helpful if you got some damp wood or some bigger wood and you can't find some little twigs or whatever. You can squirt this on there and it works really good. Well, alright. Well, hopefully you found that useful. Some of the tools that I like to carry with me. Redundancy is key for me. I want to be prepared as I can for all different situations. When we were on the Highline Trail 2 years ago, we got caught into some nasty hailstorm that came in out of nowhere and hit us hard, and temperature dropped super cold, and in that survival situation I ended up using one of these fire plugs right here, broke it in half, roughed it up, and I was in a hurry, so I used my lighter and I lit this and I got that going, and all the wood and everything around us was wet, so I started grabbing the driest stuff I could find and I put on top of this fire plug, and we got a fire going. And in the meantime we were setting up a tarp above our heads to protect us from the elements, and it was a survival situation, but because we had the right amount of gear and we had the tarp and we had a quick way to build a fire even when the wood was damp, we were able to avert maybe a tragic situation there. But anyway, so it's always good to have more than one way to start a fire. One thing about this magnesium lighter is this can be completely saturated. You could drop it in the water and pull it out. It doesn't matter because it's the metal shavings that you're burning on this thing. So this is like, it's harder to use than other stuff, but definitely a waterproof option for sure. Fire stick, this is waterproof. This could be floating down the river. You can pull it right out, cut off a piece, use it. So there's a couple of waterproof options. And there is such a thing as a waterproof match. You can use those. These are not, but there's other fire starting options out there that you can use. But I would recommend having a redundant source of being able to make fire, because heat is crucial when the temperature drops or you're cold. You got to get warmed up. So having multiple ways to start a fire, very important. Most of these ways are just to kind of assist if you have a troublesome situation with, you know, damp or green wood. You know, it'll help start that stuff before you can get your, you know, fire really raging. It'll help light that difficult to light tinder. This other stuff is just kind of fun. You know, this is just a fun way to start a fire with a, you know, you put your shoelace or a paracord around that and tie it to a bow, and you can make a spindle with this, and into another piece of wood you can spark an ember and use a bird nest and do all that bushcraft fun stuff. But anyway, I carry it with me, but like I'll never use it, but unless I was just doing it for fun. Hand sanitizer, super helpful to help get that stubborn wood to burn. A lot of people use cotton balls dipped with Vaseline. That's another great fire starter, but I don't carry any of those with me because it's messy. I don't like to have to deal with the mess. Instead, I use the dryer lint covered with wax. Same effect, much drier and less messy option. So that's that. So be safe on the trail, have fun out there, and we'll catch you on the next one.